Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been splitting his time between courtrooms and the campaign trail. Late this afternoon, a jury in New York reached a verdict in his defamation trial. At issue, whether Trump damaged magazine columnist E Jean Carroll's reputation by denying he raped her and how much in damages he should pay. Let's bring in our Jackson Proskow now. Jackson, the jury said the former president must pay much more than the $24 million Carroll's lawyers had been calling for.
A whole lot more, Neithu. The Manhattan jury ordered Trump to pay $83 million to E Jean Carroll for defaming her ever since she made her original rape accusation back in 2019. The settlement includes $11 million to fund a reputational repair campaign and another $7.3 million for emotional harm that she suffered. During the course of the trial, Carroll testified that she was frightened by persistent attacks from Trump and his supporters and that her reputation was shattered. Now, this is the second award she has received after a different jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing her back in the mid-90s in a department store dressing room. Trump says he's going to appeal. He calls this a Biden-directed witch hunt, which is not at all true. Remember, this was a civil suit brought by a private individual, and the damages were awarded by a jury of ordinary citizens. But given the ferociousness of Trump's attacks, the judge offered this advice to jurors: never disclose that you were on this jury. Neithu?
And as this has been going on, Trump has also been fueling tensions over illegal migration along the U.S.-Mexico border. Jackson, we know that in December alone, roughly 250,000 migrants crossed the southern border into the U.S. But where do things stand today?
Well, with Trump's encouragement, Republican governors in half of the country are now backing Texas in this legal standoff with the federal government, and it's intensifying concerns about a potential constitutional crisis in the making. The razor wire on the southern border is a sharp message of defiance from Texas, where the governor ordered the state's National Guard to block migrants from crossing the Rio Grande, claiming Texas faces an invasion.
What Texas is asserting is our Article 1, Section 10 right of self-defense.
The Supreme Court disagrees. This week, it ordered Texas to allow federal Border Patrol agents to remove the wire.
What we want is Border Patrol to be able to do their jobs. And right now, Governor Abbott is getting in the way.
Texas won't back down and is refusing to acknowledge the court ruling or federal authority over the border.
The appearance of asylum seekers, and even large amounts of asylum seekers at the border, is not the type of invasion that the Constitution talks about.
Make no mistake, this is entirely about election year politics. Republicans under Donald Trump want to make migration the central issue in the presidential campaign. 25 Republican-led states are now backing Texas. Some have sent their own National Guard troops to the border. In doing so, they've brought the U.S. to the brink of a constitutional crisis.
This is the exact thing that the United States went through in its first 70 to 80 years of existence, leading to eventually the secession of states and the Civil War.
Back in Washington, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is working on a border bill to deal with the record surge in migrants. But hopes of passing the legislation have fallen apart as Trump signals he wants to campaign on border chaos.
The idea that someone running for president would say, please hurt the country so I can blame my opponent and help my politics is a shocking development.
And you know, the delay on passing a border bill isn't just adding to the tension in Texas. Aid for Ukraine and Israel are tied up here, too. So Republicans who worked on that bill are now worried that if they're trying to keep Trump happy but fail to pass the bill, they'll actually end up wearing blame for the crisis at the border by the time the election rolls around in November. Neithu?
Jackson Proskow in Washington. Thanks, Jackson.